WrestleTalk!
I'm Laurie Blake. Welcome to the WrestleTalk news. On Fridays, we wear pink. Our top story today is about a forgotten AEW star who's been left in the bottom of the toy box by Tony Khan. Because next week's launch of AEW Collision on June 17th is set to see many long-lost AEW names make their return to our screens. We've got Miro, we've got Thunder Rosa, we've got Andrade El Idolo, we've got Scorpio Sky, and of course, Phil. Nobody forget about Phil, or his friend's gonna bite you. Allegedly. Yet there is another star that's not been seen for a while that may not be joining the new Saturday Night AEW crew, and that is Serena Deeb, which is strange considering that she too is a former Punk ally, so you would have thought she would have fit right in. Now, according to Fightful Select, the veteran Deeb has not been around backstage and hasn't been brought up creatively. This is despite her being a fairly prominent player in the women's division prior to this. Deeb hasn't been seen on AEW programming since an October 18th episode of Dark Elevation. She's basically gone from being in limbo to now just disappearing off the planes of existence. Has she been totally forgotten about? Has there been a falling out? Is she injured? Is she going to be a returning surprise? How will I know if it's a surprise, Tony, if you don't tell me in advance with an announcement? Now, her last actual prominent match came even further back than all of that on September 28th Dynamite, where she lost to the interim women's champion Toni Storm in a lumberjack match. Now, given the extra weekly TV time available starting from next week, hopefully AEW's creative can find something for Deeb to do, as she really is an asset to that division, and it needs lots of people in it because there's too many shows now. AEW have many other fish to fry, though, as aside from Collision coming to screens, they've also got the run back of their NJPW cross-promotional event Forbidden Door in the pipeline. And that means that stars from both companies are hungry to get themselves on the card, perhaps none more so than Kenta, who has tweeted recently that he would be keen to work the show if the money was right. Get you the bag, Kenta. Fightful Select have now discovered, though, that the working plan is for Kenta to work the show, and while the deal isn't finalised, both companies are reportedly operating on the assumption that he definitely will be working at Forbidden Door. And perhaps most excitingly of all, the man being touted as his opponent in internal discussions, according to Fightful Select, is none other than CM Punk. Gotta sleep. No, you gotta sleep. Gotta sleep. Oh, you gotta sleep. Books itself. What do you reckon? Who should Kenta face at Forbidden Door? Let us know in the comments down below. Sticking with Forbidden Door and some more news from Fightful Select, who did some digging regarding Mercedes Mone working with AEW prior to her recent injury. Fightful noted that before she was injured, there were potentially talks about AEW, and talent at NJPW and AEW believed that she would work Forbidden Door with Saraya as the rumoured opponent. They were unable to confirm if this truly was planned, and Saraya reportedly was never approached with the idea, but the two do have some good history to draw on, as they worked together in Page's last match for 5 years back in 2017. We've got more news in a mo, but first a word from our episode sponsor.
I made his wrestler Turbo Jack. When I get uncontrollable rage, I used to rip whatever t-shirt I was wearing. Ah-ha! Ah! Man, Turbo Jack had no t-shirts. That makes Turbo Jack sad. I want to be able to go outside like a regular human being sometimes. But now Turbo Jack has met his t-shirt match with True Classic Apparel, the premium men's brand for everyday essentials. Turbo Jack no longer has to pick between style and price, because True Classic has tagless, buttery soft, and super durable built-to-last premium fabrics designed for maximum comfort, which Turbo Jack can't rip! Ah! Ah! No matter how hard he tries! Ah! Even though I'm working out so much! Ah! With customizable body proportions using their True Fit sliding scale. Tighten the arms and chest for muscles and loosen the midsection, just how Turbo Jack likes it. Get perfect fit every time. Get one you like in every color. Turbo Jack also likes gray, but everybody has a price. And True Classics is super affordable, and for a limited time only is even more affordable with 25% off and free shipping when you use Turbo Jack's promo code WrestleTalk at TrueClassic.com. That's WrestleTalk at checkout using the link below. True Classic, anything but basic.
Apparently that's his inside voice. I had to see him outside. Generally. While much of AEW's focus is understandably on Forbidden Door and all the exciting NJPW stars coming across for the June 25th crossover event, one of their very own Japanese stars may be set to become a major player in the company in the future. I'm of course talking about Konosuke Takeshita, who shocked the world by aligning with Don Callis and taking out Kenny Omega at Double or Nothing on May 28th. However, despite Takeshita only just turning to the dark side, could AEW already have their eyes on an eventual babyface turn? Because according to Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio, AEW's long-term plan will eventually see Takeshita become one of the biggest babyfaces in the company. Now, obviously, that is pretty inconceivable at present when you hear the reactions that both him and Don Callis are getting on a weekly basis. However, time heals all wounds, baby. Hey, I reckon if Takeshita turned around next week and blasted Don Callis, AEW's long-term plan could be achieved in an instant. Everyone likes it when you punch Don Callis. We're moving across to WWE now, and they too have got their own case of wrestlers who are MIA at present. Perhaps most notable is former two-time WWE champion Drew McIntyre, who's not been seen in a WWE ring since getting butchered alongside Sheamus by Gunther at WrestleMania 39. Now, while McIntyre's WWE status has been a major topic of discussion, particularly due to his reported stalemate over negotiations over a new contract, he did get drafted to Raw, so a return, it was kind of looking promising. And now we've got some comments from current WWE World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins, who appeared on Mark Andrews' My Love Letter to Wrestling podcast, hinting that a return to the World Heavyweight title scene may be imminent for Drew. Because when naming potential challengers for his lovely gold belt, Rollins named stars such as Cody, Sammy, KO, etc. Rollins would also name drop the Scottish Warrior alongside them. However, his comment did mention Drew's current health status, saying, "We've got Drew McIntyre on the injured list at the moment right now." So yeah, take this one way or the other. For one, Rollins mentioned Drew as a potential challenger, but also seemingly confirmed that he's still on the sidelines and will be maybe for a while. It is important to note here that according to a report from Dave Meltzer 3 weeks ago, McIntyre's absence was now more of a creative issue than anything else. So hopefully Drew is back fighting fit at the very least. But should Drew McIntyre return in London and win the Money in the Bank as a monster heel? Maybe. Maybe he should. Let us know what you think of that idea and what you think should happen with Drew McIntyre in the comments down below. Speaking of Mr. Seth F. Rollins, he has certainly been a busy boy already since winning that World Heavyweight title, hasn't he? He's not only defended the title in the main event of Raw against Damian Priest, but he's also been doing the same at WWE live events. Tonight's SmackDown in a dark match, your back garden, the local supermarket, you name the place, Rollins going to defend the title there. Which of course means WWE's third brand, NXT, was bound to see a share of that sweet, sweet Rollins pie, with former NXT champion Bron Breakker making waves this week by challenging Rollins to a World Heavyweight Championship match. While the match has not yet been confirmed, Breakker's challenge made sure to mention that it would take place on a Tuesday night and not on a Monday. And now we know why that might be. It's the rating. It's ratings. What else? What else was it gonna be? He's not going there for fun, is he? Ratings. Yep. Speaking on Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer elaborated on the decision and noted that the push for stars like Rollins to appear on Tuesday nights is coming from WWE President Nick Khan himself, saying, "The deal is, this is a Nick Khan thing. Bring more main roster stars to NXT every week, boost the ratings, and try to boost your price for a renewal from USA Network because the ratings are higher." A money business. This push from Khan was then addressed by the man himself, as well as some changes to NXT's identity as a whole coming soon. With WWE's TV deals with Fox and NBC Universal set to come up next year, Khan in particular is out to make the individual WWE products appeal as much as they possibly can. While Raw and SmackDown are juggernauts in their own right, for NXT, it's of course a little bit more of a hard sell. Speaking to The Hollywood Reporter, Khan noted the viability of having NXT as not only a developmental for the main roster, but WWE's third brand, which they can sell, one that features crossover from main roster stars like Seth Rollins. Khan said, "We think NXT has the viability to be its own standalone brand instead of just being a developmental system, a third brand, if you will, where you can see crossover from our superstars on Raw and SmackDown to NXT while our young talent develops there." They've experimented with this before, of course, and interestingly, this crossover may also be set to go the other way as well, as WRKD Wrestling on Twitter has reported that NXT tag teams are going to also be getting mixed in with the main roster matches. Khan made sure to mention that NXT ratings were trending up ahead of the negotiation. Of course they are. Something that with the appearance of Rollins as well as other known ratings draws, Baron Corbin, Dana Brooke, Mustafa Ali, unfortunately, it's likely to continue. While WWE may be leaning on their main roster stars to give NXT a shot in the arm, they may not need to for much longer, as a pair of new WWE recruits may be WWE's next pet project. The talents in question are Hayley and Hannah Kavinda, or the Kavinda twins, as they are often referred to. The pair of former college basketball stars were signed by WWE as part of their Next in Line program in late 2021. However, they only just made their TV debut this past week on NXT, appearing as part of the celebration for Taya Hale after she won the #1 Contenders Battle Royale. Now, they weren't the only PC athletes in the segment, but they were interestingly mentioned by name. This is all despite still not actually having signed a proper WWE contract, as Dave Meltzer noted on Wrestling Observer Radio that the pair are still on their NIL deal. However, Meltzer did reveal WWE's current opinion of the twins following their TV debut, saying they, WWE, are real high on them, but they haven't even started training. The Kavinda twins would then speak to The Athletic following this and revealed their current status with the company, saying, "I don't think we talked about a timeline. We take it day by day. We came out here and we're going to a Raw event later in July. We're going where our feet are, understanding, getting more into it, and seeing where it takes us." The article also noted that both Hayley and Hannah had their official full introduction to WWE on June 7th, which included a promo class and video/photo shoots, with a full tryout slated for some time in July. While NXT may have some new faces very soon, what are the stars that recently made the jump from the gold brand to the red or blue brands? While some stars have still yet to be seen, Odyssey Jones, anyone? Anyone? Does anyone know where Odyssey Jones is? Others have seemingly been handled with a bit more care and attention. Part of this has been the airing of pre-taped vignettes for many debuting stars such as JD McDonough and the reportedly well-received Katana Chance and Caden Carter. However, interestingly, you may have noticed that this has also been applied to several returning main roster stars too, such as husband and wife Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae. And while vignettes are a wrestling trope as old as time, they are an effective way to showcase talent and hammer home who they are. And according to Fightful Select, the approach from WWE has been well received by the talent in question. Fightful's report notes that many of the segments were filmed weeks in advance, and their sources telling them that talent are enjoying them. Hey, there you go. A positive, happy picture being painted of WWE's locker room. That's a good way to finish a Friday news. Happy bloody Friday, everyone. Cheers to them. Well done, those guys.
Luco and DAD, and in this episode we are going to review every single WWE World Champion in 3 words or fewer.